Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our backyard. I am on the south side of our garden, right by the coral honeysuckle trellis, and I am going to step into this tiny little nook in the back, and this is our south-facing side, but it is small. This is the area where I have drainage issues on both sides. And it also radiates a lot of heat. The brick and the fencing here really makes this area into a sauna. And so today I want to talk about one of the things I'm trying to alleviate not the heat, I can't really alleviate that, but the things that I'm doing to try to have more successful plantings in this little nook. One of the things that you can see that I am doing is I am utilizing pots. And last year I had plants in my raised bed drowned out from all the rain that we had gotten in a short period of time, and it didn't drain well, and so they pretty much struggled midsummer to actually fall. And so I got the bright idea that I was going to try planting in pots back here. And you'll notice the color of pots. Most of them are light colored, and that's because of the sunlight and the heat. This gets full sun, and I found that darker colored pots just absorb the sun and bake. And so the lighter colored pots are to protect the roots of the plants. And so I'm trying this as an experiment. One of the things I have found is, I'm going to back up a little bit. And even though I don't see this, because it's on the side of the house, when I come around here, I still don't prefer the look. I just don't, I like pots as accents here and there to add height or interest, but I just don't like this look. So my bright idea isn't something that I prefer. I much prefer in-ground plantings. So, what am I going to do? Well, I am going to let this area here finish out the season. It's too hot to really try anything new. The heat of the summer. So we'll see. The plants themselves are doing wonderfully. So in the front is where I have the pots. In the back, I do not. These are all planted in ground. And I have my Cape honeysuckle growing up the trellis all in the back, but that's more of a fall and winter plant when it blooms. And then I have my firebush, and then some Tithonia that I decided to try here. And as I I think I've mentioned this, and if I haven't, I am not going to grow Tithonia in my beds. I'm going to create a whole separate full sun bed for Tithonia because it gets so large down here. So back here, all my plants are planted in the ground. But the front bed, these are in pots. And right now I'm looking from the back out to the front. So I do have a couple of things planted in the ground. I do have one of my salvias, April Nights. Actually, I have a couple of salvias that I have planted in the ground. And then I have a trailing lantana that performed extremely well for me over the summer. And so I know it could have been a combination of the type of plants I had. And then, of course, I know it's the drainage issue. So one thing we've talked about is raising our bed higher, doubling the raised portion of the bed. Because I don't know if you can see here, I've got standing water. And this just is not good. We don't have, I know we could put in like a French drain. That's a big, big project that I don't think we are willing to tackle at this moment. And so right now, less water and a raised bed that's higher seem to be the route we're thinking on going. So every year I change this area up because I've not been satisfied with it. And I've had lots of plants drowned, especially the first year before we actually put in the raised bed. So I'm curious, what are some things that you all have done in your yards for challenging areas? You know, as a gardener, you've got to trial and error. You've got to experiment, and that's what I can say that I'm doing. This is certainly trial and error and experimenting, seeing what I like, what I don't like. I don't like dead plants. So I decided to try pots. I'm much happier with the pots because of the blooms that I have and how many pollinators are actually back here frequenting the plants and how they are surviving, some thriving. You can see my butterfly bush here is not doing great, which I've talked about before. But I don't really like the pots either. So it is a step up from dead plants. But I think what we're going to do is double the size of the raised bed. And then at some point, we're going to have to put in better drainage. Bird is singing to me this morning. All right. Well, in the comments below, if you have a particular suggestion, I would love hearing it. Remember, I garden in Zone 9A along the Gulf Coast, and we have hot and humid weather, and at times can get torrential rains. We get a lot of rainfall a year. So the plants I want to plant are for the pollinators, both the hummingbirds and the butterflies and bees. And so that's my main requirement. And of course, those that can tolerate this type of area. So if you have any suggestions, I would love to hear them. The other thing I'm interested in is challenges that you have in particular areas of your yard and how you've overcome them. Your ideas and suggestions have really helped me. All right, everyone. Well, I hope you all have a fantastic day today. And I hope to see you again. Bye-bye.